Hello, Brick Sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and today I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to talk bad about a Lego piece. Yeah, that's right. This is Lego piece 15706, and I don't know how to use this. Every time I come across a new piece, I tend to pick up a few and try them out. Now, when I saw these, they were selling super cheap on Brick Owl. I mean, like a penny or 2 pennies a piece. So I bought a whole bunch of them. I was like, hey, you could build something cool with these. So I got a whole bunch of them. And like any new piece, I tinker around with it, see what it works for, see what it doesn't. And I'll be honest with you, I can't find much to do with this piece. And I'm going to show you why. Now, as you might know, this piece is a 45-degree angle. If you put two of them together, it makes a right angle, a 90-degree angle, which you would think would have some good applications. This also means that if you were to put 8 of them together, you can make a full octagon. And I'll show you a couple methods of doing that. So first of all, we could just connect the pieces directly together, alternating up, down, like this. And right away this looks like, oh, I could think of so many cool things to make with this. I could make a water wheel, a windmill, a Ferris wheel. It looks like a sweet setup, but there's a problem with that. In order for you to use this as a wheel, you have to have a central hub. And the way these fit, it's not a round number in the middle. So I can't find a way to get an axle directly in the center of this. And there's more problems than that. If you take just the single piece, you would think, hopefully, there'd be a connection point here, aside from just connecting on the flats. So like across here, nope, too long for 4 studs, not long enough for 5. Maybe this one, just barely short of 4 studs. This one, just barely long of 3 studs. And that one is about 1.5. So you can't really build across this, meaning if I were going to use this as like a platform in a tower or something, it's going to be really hard to attach things to the outside of this. Now, there are ways to do it, hinges and things, you can get creative. But again, you also come down to that issue of that central middle part. You can't connect to it. Now, you can build different octagons with this. For example, this one, where I basically laid the pieces side by side and connected them with a 2x2 tile. Now, this is a good looking piece also, but still can't use the outside, and we still don't have an even number across. If we take a longer piece, here you can see, it's not going to line up. So again, I can't access the center there, which makes this really difficult to use. You can spread this out even further. For example, here's one where I left a 2 gap in between each. And I was like, maybe I can put something all the way through. Not really. It still doesn't line up. So you can see here, that distance across, this is a 10 long plate. It just is not an even distance. So connecting this to anything in a traditional base plate is going to be really tricky. Speaking of which, let's say we take a base plate and we try to play with these angles. You know, if you're building these in Lego City or really any MOC, you're going to have to attach to a base plate. And yes, you can make something out of it and connect it to one stud on a jumper or something and a bunch of tile and have a weak connection. But what can you really build with this? You know, if we put these just like this, you know, you have a right angle here. But let's look at if we can actually make a right angle. You know, right here, we have it hanging over 2 studs on that side. Oh, it doesn't meet up. Well, we can move it out a little bit. This looks promising, but it's just a little off. Now, you probably could use an illegal building technique and pull these together and connect them at a right angle, but again, not a lot you can really do with that, even if you are willing to use a illegal technique. Same thing out here. They just don't line up. You know, all the way to the outside, they get really close here. And it almost looks like a perfect fit. Now, this is where we have 6 in between them. And if you wanted to stretch this, you definitely could use this. And I might try to make a roof out of this. And in doing this, it kind of looks like a good roof pitch. but it technically is illegal because you can see these don't line up. And the main reason is just the dimensions. If you watched my video on Pythagorean triples, I'll link that here and at the end, really great video, you'll learn that there's really no right angles that are Pythagorean triples, meaning that they have all whole number sides. And unfortunately with Lego, you kind of have to have whole numbers. You can do half numbers with jumpers and stuff, but it gets really complicated. But even then, you know, right angles typically are not very compatible like that with having whole numbers. So that's a problem there too. Now the best application I could think of for this piece would be the right angle. But that has some issues too. You know, let's say you make a right angle. You could use this to connect to things at a right angle, but your dimensions are still off. You know, you don't have a round number here, so that could be troublesome. And I was looking at this and I was like, oh, maybe that's like a half. So let's put a jumper there. And if we put a jumper here and a jumper here, it's close, but it's not a good fit. So I don't mean to be a downer with this video. I'm doing this more to seek out answers and see if you guys have found better ways to use this piece and if you have any recommendations. Because I do think the piece has potential. I'm just not seeing it yet, and it's bothering me. So let me know below what you guys have done with this, maybe what some sets have done with it that you think is cool, and if you have any recommendations, I'll be happy to try them out, and maybe I'll do a video on it in the future. Well, that's all I got for this time. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more just like this in the future, and we will see you next time.